ourselves, we knocked it back an hour. I mean, obviously, from our point of view, you know, it's not ideal to have such a long transfer the day before, or the night before a rest day. It compromises everybody, yourselves included, a little bit. But my job is to make sure that these guys are rested as possible. And they need a rest after the first week. They've ridden brilliantly, but today's all about resting, so I want to try and give them the afternoon off. So that's my priority. Hopefully you can understand that, and we tried to compromise a little bit by knocking back an hour, so hopefully that's all done and dusted and out of the way. From our point of view, we've had a fantastic first week. We knew, I think we talked a lot about this first week being a series of one-day races, and I think there were some questions of us, but I think the guys stood up and answered every question that's been thrown at them. Not just answered them, but I think gone over and above what the expectation was. And I think that collectively as a group they've been brilliantly. So I don't think we could be in a better place arriving at this first rest day, sorry. And I think now we're looking forward to the next phase of the race, which obviously takes us into the mountains, and a whole new race will develop. So that's it from me really for now, just to take questions, I guess.
And just before we do that, just a few words from Chris as well.
Yeah, morning guys. Again, just reiterating what Dave said, thank you very much for everyone getting here on time and this early in the morning. I know it wasn't easy. Yeah, it really, I think coming into this race, there was a lot of last year still in the back of my mind. This first week was really one of the biggest concerns, and not necessarily to come in and, I mean, the big thing was not to actually lose any time to any of the contenders, but to actually be in this position. I'm already in yellow, to have gained quite substantial amounts of time on a lot of my big rivals. That's, this is the dream scenario at the moment, and I really just have my team to thank for that. They've carried me through this first 9 days in spectacular fashion, and been there every step of the way through the cobbles, through the crosswinds, the rain, all these one-day classics. So really couldn't be in a better position as we are right now on the first rest day.
First question, please.
Chris, what can you tell us about the day of tomorrow? How important is it? What are the risks after a rest day at the first mountain stage?
It's quite a key stage tomorrow. I mean, it's not as hard as other mountain days that we've got coming up, but it is the first mountaintop finish, and everyone's going to be looking at this as a gauge as to how things are going to go in the next 2 weeks. So I mean, it's a very important stage, but I'm very grateful to be in the position that I'm in now, that I'm not trying to make up time on someone else. I've got the position that I can just ride it towards the front of the race, and it's up to the other GC contenders now to put in their attacks, to put in their moves, and to show their cards.
Next question, please.
TJ spoke yesterday of momentum, how important it was in a 3-week tour. We saw that last year with Nibali, who started off really well. In fact, the inverse this year seems to be losing more and more time. Would you concur with that, that it's really important to get off to a good start, because it's very hard to reverse the tendency?
I wouldn't say it's impossible to change things at this point. I mean, it's a long race, there's a long way to go. We haven't even hit the mountains yet, so I mean, Nairo Quintana, for example, I expect him to start heading the other way now and start trying to gain time again. But certainly, I mean, it's important for morale. It's important for the teams. I mean, if you're one of those big GC contenders coming into this race and you're losing time almost on a daily basis, it's got to be quite a negative thing within the team, and the morale wouldn't be good. So yeah, let's see what happens these next few days.
Next question, please.
Chris, ciao. In your opinion, in this tour, Pyrenees can be more decisive on the paper than Alps, or not? What did you say?
I honestly don't know the answer to that question. I think both are going to be extremely challenging. The Alps being later in the race, more fatigue at that point could be more decisive, but it really depends what happens in the Pyrenees first.
Next question.
Grant, your form's obviously been great, and Dave's spoken overnight about your potential to lead the team one day. Is there something you're aspiring to beyond this tour, obviously?
Well, I guess, as a kid you always dream of the biggest races and then go and trying to win the biggest races, so it would be an absolute dream to do that one day. But at the moment it's all about just keeping that progression going, really, and since I left the track behind and felt like I've been improving in the climbs all the time and as a rider, and hopefully this tour can keep doing that, really. Just keep improving, keep pushing forward, and later on down the line, a few years down the line, who knows, but at the moment I'm just concerned about this race and doing what I can for Froome.
Next question.
Chris, you've had 9 days of the race so far. How would you compare your form now with this point 2 years ago?
I think I'm in quite a different position to how I was 2 years ago. I think I came into the race extremely ready 2 years ago. I've won pretty much every race building up to the Tour, and I did feel as if once I got past the halfway mark into the 2013 Tour that I was almost just hanging on until the finish. Whereas this year I feel as if I've come in a lot fresher, a lot more mentally prepared, and I feel as if I'm getting stronger in this year's race.
Next question, please.
Chris, looking to the rivals, thinking to the position in the GC now of Nairo Quintana and Vincenzo Nibali, now their position is more or less similar, but in the general consideration, Quintana now has much more possibility to try to do something to recover compared to Vincenzo Nibali. Why, in your opinion? Because he's considered a best climber, or for other reasons? What do you think?
I think a lot of people expected Vincenzo to make up a lot of time on the other rivals in this first week, and opposed to with Nairo, I think people expect him to make his time in the mountains. So I think given that, I'd definitely say that. I mean, I expect that Nairo will be the guy to look out for more than Vincenzo in this stage, in this next phase of the race.
Next question.
Chris, given how well you're all riding at the moment, I know you talked yesterday about it's up to the others to attack, as it were, but is there not part of you as a team almost coming up the Pyrenees with an even bigger chunk of time that means that the Alps you really are in command here? I know you've got a couple of minutes, but it could be 4 or 5 minutes.
Yeah. I think we're just going to have to look at that almost on a daily basis and just evaluate what teams are making the racing, who's trying to get up the road, and take it from there. I mean, for sure, if the opportunity is there to take more time, of course I'd go for it, but I'm in an extremely privileged position at the moment, and I wouldn't want to jeopardize that.
Any more questions for the guy?
Hi, this is for Richie and for Dave and for Chris. Richie, can you explain the reasoning for your decision not to ride the Sky next year? And if we could ask Chris and Dave just what your reaction is for the rest of the race that Richie will be in.
The issue for us is that we can't talk about contracts until August 1. So we'll talk about it after August 1. I understand, but I mean, we just don't want to break the rules. The rules are the rules. We still have to follow them.
Next question.
Chris, Alberto Contador is one of the most rare tours so far of all the riders. Can you explain why is he so tricky and so dangerous? even if he's already raced the Giro, it could be tiring in this tour. What do we need to look out for? What's the danger that we're possible?
I think, I mean, going back to what Nicolas Roche said earlier on at the beginning of this race, Alberto's definitely a guy who races on other people's weaknesses and waits for a moment where you're exposed and will take full advantage of that. So even though he's already lost a small amount of time now, he's definitely someone who you can't just let him get up the road. You've got to give him that kind of respect. I mean, he has won so many Grand Tours in the past.
Next question, please, Chris. Just leading on that question, you've got Richie there and Nicolas who've ridden for Alberto. How much can you tap into their IP and experience with Alberto that can be handy to you?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely useful being able to actually on the road bounce ideas off guys like Richie, guys like Nico, who've ridden with Alberto. They potentially know how the team works, what they're thinking, what they're planning. Of course, that all comes in handy when we need to decide what to do out on the road.
Thanks, Chris.
Geraint, you're well placed overall. Can you dare to dream of the podium? Is that unrealistic ambition?
No. Well, you know, it's just what will happen to me will happen. You know, it's all about just doing my job, and if I feel good, it means my job will come at the end of the stage, and that'll mean I sort of stay up there in GC for a bit longer. But at the end of the day, it's all about Froome and just doing our jobs there, and that's it really. If I ended up, you know, well, podium would just be like out of this world, but you know, a top 10 or a top 20 or something would be great on a personal level as well. But yeah, like I say, the main thing is just doing what I can for Chris.
Do you plan B though?
No, we don't have a plan B this year. We've just gone all out for Chris, and everyone gets stuck in there, and if anything crazy or unlucky happened, then sort of take that when it came.
Just got a question here. Nicola, after yesterday's stage, you were a little bit disappointed with how it ended, but the team had thought that you'd ridden terrifically well and were one of the heroes of that team time trial effort. Have you had a kind of a different view with the night's sleep now?
Well, you know, to be so close to the stage winning the tour, it would be wrong not to be disappointed. I think it was only fair, and you know, was it 500 meters to the line, and you know, we were all in there, and G squeezed a little bit that last kilometer to you know, we were in for the win, and there's a fine line, and I was just behind that line. But you know, I think it's also normal that I was disappointed, because it's a massive effort. The whole team was looking forward to this race yesterday, and you know, it's such a special and particular event, the team time trial, and I would have loved to be on that podium with the guys yesterday. Didn't happen for a couple of 100 meters, but you know, this morning is if you look at the big picture, Chris is still in yellow, which was the main goal yesterday, and you know, realistically, 0.6 of a second over 28 kilometers is not a dramatically bad TTT. So you know, but a good night's sleep, it's much better this morning.
I think he should feel proud of himself. To be fair to Nicolas, it's a team effort, and the last couple of times we've been out on the road doing team time trials, I think we'd all agree we haven't been at our best. It hasn't quite worked, and we spent a lot of time doing nothing to think about team time trialing, trying to improve our team time trialing. And if he'd have told us at the start yesterday the time that we did and how we performed as a team, we'd have taken that absolutely 100%. So, you know, everybody saw the last kilometre, but we didn't see all the, you know, the 27 kilometres before that when Nicolas did a tremendous job. We wouldn't have been there had he not done what he did. So he should feel very proud of himself, in fact.
A question here in the front.
Richie, your eyebrow lift there when you didn't get a chance to answer the question, I thought was quite revealing. Are you in a bit of sort of a John Lennon moment at the moment, like you've here finishing up a last great album, but you've also looking forward to a bit of a solo career?
rules are rules. I can't speak about it. So. No, I mean, to be honest with you, you know, I'm here with Team Sky and Sky Kit. I love this team. I got, you know, Froome is one of my closest friends, and so are the rest of the guys. So I know what my job is here, and I'm excited now to get into the mountains. And you know, you're talking about Quintana and all these other guys, Nibali, and I can't wait to chase them. You know, that's my job, is to you know, they attack. I'm going to chase them for my mate Froome, so I'm looking forward to that.
Question over here.
Chris, what's the biggest danger in the next few days? If you take to see the threat of attacks, or just take over the ball? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, of course now it's up to other teams to put the pressure on us. Yeah, I think that's got to be. This is the heart of the race now. This is where all the action's going to be happening. We're going to see who's done the homework, who's got what in the mountains. This is where the real race for yellow truly starts.
Just 2 more questions, please, guys.
Chris, Movistar, apart of Quintana, has also Valverde, that is still for the moment in the GC. What do you think about in which way they could play this card? Because Quintana is the only one that has a rider as Valverde, of the level of Valverde on his own. So, could be a danger for you?
Yeah, I mean, for sure, if they've got two guys up there, it means we've got to watch out for 2 guys. It's not just about Nairo. How they're going to use that card, I mean, you're going to have to ask them that. Maybe Valverde will be attacking a bit earlier on, and who knows? I think we're going to have to wait and see.
Last question, please.
There's been a lot of talk about, I mean, just in this conference, about Contador and Sana and Nibali. I mean, again, we haven't spoken much about Van Gardner and what he can actually pose as being an incredible threat for the yellow in Paris. Do you think that's...
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not a surprise to me that TJ is riding as well as he is. I rode against him in Dauphiné, and he was very impressive there, and there's only a very narrow margin between us both at Dauphiné, so I do expect him to be up there, and as it stands at the moment, he is my biggest threat, only 12 seconds down.
Thank you very much, guys. So we're going to let G, Richie, Nico go get prepared for the training ride. Thank you to the Park Beaumont Hotel for hosting us today as well. Thank you very much. And we're going to do TVs outside just with Chris.